Welcome back to Securiosity. Are you scanning the globe for the next big thing in emerging markets, thinking about 2026 and where you can find strong growth, ridiculously low taxes, and solid returns on your investment? Well, you might want to zoom in on a country that has been flying under the radar for far too long. Today, we're talking about Paraguay, possibly one of the best kept secrets in Latin America right now. This landlocked nation is quietly building a reputation for impressive economic stability and a real estate market that is buzzing with potential. It's catching the eye of smart investors from the US, Europe, and especially from its neighbors. In this deep dive, we're really going to cover everything you need to know. What Paraguay's economy looks like in 2026. Why its real estate market is the star of the show and the massive advantages like its ultra-low tax system. We'll also talk about what kind of profits are realistic. And here's the best part. We'll show you how you can potentially invest online, completely remotely, without ever stepping foot in the country. Now, a quick but important disclaimer before we jump in. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Investing always carries risks like market volatility or currency fluctuations. So please, always do your own thorough research and consult with qualified professionals before making any decisions. Alright, let us get started with the big picture. Paraguay's economy in 2026. Things are looking remarkably steady. The latest forecasts from the IMF project real GDP growth to be around 3.7%. The World Bank and Paraguay's own central bank are even more optimistic, with projections landing somewhere between 3.7 and 4.2%. What's fueling this growth? A powerful combination of agriculture, massive hydropower exports, a growing manufacturing sector, and a steady stream of foreign investment. Inflation is well controlled, hovering around 3.5 to 3.7%. And the country's public debt is impressively low, under 40% of its GDP. Plus, Paraguay boasts one of Latin America's most stable currencies, the Guarani. This stability is so recognized that back in 2024, Moody's actually upgraded Paraguay to investment grade, a huge signal of confidence in its smart economic policies. The key drivers behind this success story are its abundant natural resources, a young and dynamic workforce, its strategic position for nearshoring trends, and a genuinely business-friendly government. All this economic stability creates the perfect fertile ground for real estate, which is one of the sectors benefiting the most from rapid urbanization, population growth in the capital cities, and the influx of expats and investors from Argentina, Brazil, and beyond. Now, let's talk about the star of today's show, real estate. Investing in Paraguayan property offers some incredibly compelling advantages in 2026, especially if you're a foreigner living abroad. First up, the low entry barriers. There are practically no major restrictions. As a foreigner, you can buy property, whether it's urban or rural, with the exact same rights as a local citizen. There are some minor limits on land near the borders for certain nationalities, but for a prime investment hub like Asunción, it's completely wide open. Next, and this is a true game changer, are the ultra-low taxes. Paraguay operates on a beautifully simple exentive October E10th system. That's 10% corporate tax, 10% personal income tax, and 10% VAT. But it gets even better. There is no wealth tax. There is no inheritance tax on your foreign assets. And crucially, Paraguay has a territorial tax system, which means any income you earn outside of Paraguay is not taxed by Paraguay. Looking at property-specific taxes, the annual property tax is just 0.3 to 1% of the fiscal value, which is often way lower than the actual market value. There are no high transfer taxes when you buy, and capital gains for residents are taxed at a flat 10%. Now, if you're a non-resident, the withholding tax is a bit higher, but it's incredibly easy to get residency, especially through a real estate investment, which drops your tax burden dramatically. When you compare this to their high wealth and inheritance taxes in Europe or their complex capital gains rules in the US, it's clear that Paraguay's system is designed to let you keep more of your profits. Let's talk numbers. What about prices and returns? PROPERTY in Asuncion is still very affordable, with apartments ranging from about $900 to $2,000 per square meter. That's significantly cheaper than in neighboring capitals in Uruguay or Argentina. Rural land is even more affordable. This affordability is paired with serious growth potential. Demand is being driven by urbanization, migration from neighboring countries, and huge investments in infrastructure like new highways and business hubs. So, what can you realistically expect in terms of returns? For rental yields, you're looking at a gross return of 5 to 8% in a sum. This can be even higher if you focus on short-term rentals on platforms like Airbnb, especially in popular expat and tourist areas like Villa Marao or Carmelita. After you account for costs, your net yield will likely be in the 4 to 7% range. On top of that, you have capital appreciation. In prime zones, you can expect property values to increase by 7 to 9% annually, thanks to that strong economic growth and an undersupply of modern housing. When you combine rental income and appreciation, your total return on investment can easily reach 10 to 15% per year. For example, a 7% net rental yield plus 8% appreciation gives you a 15% total return. Some new developments in high-demand areas are even reporting returns north of that. Of course, there are risks. You need to monitor the currency, even though the Guarani is stable. Political stability is generally good, but is always something to be aware of. And it is absolutely crucial to do proper due diligence to avoid any issues with property title. But for many, the potential rewards are compelling. Okay, so this all sounds great, but you're probably thinking, do I need to fly to Paraguay to do all this? And the answer, amazingly, is no. This might be the best part. You can do everything remotely from the comfort of your home. Here's a step-by-step guide on how it works in 2026. First, you'll research and choose your investment. You can use online platforms like the local site Pupi de Zadspi, work with international agents, or even take virtual tours of properties on YouTube. For liquidity and reliable rental demand, it's smart to focus on Asuncion or other growing cities. Step 2 is to hire your professional team remotely. You'll need a trusted Paraguayan notary, known as an escribano, a lawyer, and a real estate agent. You can engage them all through email and Zoom calls. Their most important job will be to handle the due diligence, especially the title search, to make sure the property you want to buy has a clean, undisputed title. Step 3 is granting a power of attorney. From your home country, you can grant the power of attorney, or POA, to your lawyer or notary. This document needs to be notarized and apostilled, which is an international certification. This POA gives them the legal authority to sign all the necessary documents on your behalf. Step 4 is the purchase process itself. With the POA in place, your lawyer can sign contracts for you. You'll transfer the payment via an international wire transfer, and you will need to show proof of where the funds came from. Your team will then handle the final registration of the property in your name at the public registry. The total closing costs for all of this are typically around 3 to 5% of the property price, which covers the notary, registration, and agent fees. And finally, post-purchase management. You can manage your property remotely using a local property management company. They can handle finding tenants, collecting rent, and maintenance. Many of them even offer full services Airbnb setup and management. And here, as a bonus tip to supercharge your investment. If you invest $70,000 or more into real estate, you can qualify for permanent residency through a program called SWACE. The process is fast, typically taking only 45 to 60 days, and it unlocks those even lower tax rates we talked about earlier. There are plenty of tools available, from international brokers who handle payments to agents who specialize in helping foreign buyers, making the remote process smoother than ever. So, to wrap it all up, Paraguay in 2026 presents a unique combination of solid economic growth, rock-bottom taxes, and a real estate market with very real profit potential. We're talking about total returns that can often reach 10 to 15% per year, all accessible remotely from anywhere in the world. For diversified long-term investors, the pros can certainly outweigh the cons. But please remember the risks we mentioned and always do your own thorough due diligence. And one last time, this is not financial advice, so please consult with experts before making any moves. If this video sparked your interest, hit that like button, subscribe to Sir Curiosity, and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Would you consider investing in Paraguay's real estate market? I'd love to hear what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in our next emerging market deep dive.